Yeah, good evening all. I hope you are able to see the screen and my voice is audible. Could you please confirm me that?
Yeah, yes, Kiran, you are
Yes,
audible and screen is visible.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. So I'll just take 1 more minute and then I'll start the session. There are a few more students that need to join. Just 1 minute. Yeah, right. So good evening all once again. Welcome to online live training on Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. My name is Kastro Kiran. In this session, we are going to see what exactly you are going to learn as part of this training program, what you can expect from this particular training program, and how this particular training program will help you to gain the skills of a 3 years experience candidate. Let's say whatever the skill or whatever the idea that is there for 3 years experience candidate, the same level of knowledge will be providing for you with respect to these three tools that are available in the DevOps. So I'll be talking about in detail things, and I'll be also mentioning about the curriculum of the entire Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, and what are all the things that you can expect from this training program. I'll be letting you know. Once again, I welcome you all for this Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes training, which is demo session 1. So the demo sessions are going to happen today and tomorrow at the same timings. That is at 5 o'clock in the evening to 6:30 in the evening. So 1.5 hours of demo sessions will be there, where in these demo sessions, we'll be covering multiple aspects as a fundamental part of this training program. Particularly in this session, I'll be talking about a brief overview about the entire thing that we are going to discuss in the next 30 days as part of this training program. So let me write what are all the things that you can expect from this training program. So let me share my screen. So I hope my notepad screen is visible for everyone. Can you please confirm me that? Can you please confirm me? My notepad screen is visible for everyone?
yes,
Yes,
Yeah,
Kiran.
fine.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
yes.
Right. So coming to my introduction. So maybe you must be knowing about me from YouTube or from my LinkedIn, or you might be the students of me from the other training institutes which I am currently training or which I have trained previously also. So in a nutshell, my name is Kastro Kiran V, and I am an AWS and DevOps trainer, specifically AWS and DevOps trainer. And I also teach the other cloud platforms as well, such as GCP and Microsoft Azure. But on a large scale, I'll be focusing mostly on AWS. And so far, I have trained almost 800 plus students in the different AWS services and also the DevOps tools across the globe. So I have been working for multiple edutech firms over the past 5 years. So if you ask me about my experience, I have 5+ years of experience, especially in training part. 5+ years in training, where I have involved with different edutech firms. So some of the edutech firms which I am currently working is a Paperlight, and the other one is Sarajai, and the other one is Think Cloudly. Like this, I have been working with different edutech firms for different organizations, and I'm also a corporate trainer as well. And in my 5+ years of training experience, I have trained the students who are fresh graduates, and I have also trained the professionals who are trying to shift their domain from one software domain to another software domain, and also the people who are from different educational backgrounds. Let's say they need not be the engineering background or the computers background. They are from different backgrounds, and I am someone who has trained all such kind of peoples, engaging them in order to understand how the DevOps market will work, and also what are the things that are available or that need to be learned in order to become a DevOps engineer. That is in a nutshell about me. And coming to my educational background, currently I am doing my PhD. So I hope you know what is a PhD. It's a Doctor of Philosophy. I have completed my Bachelor of Technology, and I have completed my Masters of Technology, which is MTech. And currently I'm doing my PhD, and I'll be expecting to receive my PhD degree roughly in the next 2 months. Roughly around 2 months, I'll be getting my PhD degree if everything goes right. So this is in a nutshell about me. Now, coming to the course introduction. So introduction to the course or to the training. I'll keep it as training instead of keeping it as course. So in this training program, the title of this training program is Jenkins, Docker plus Kubernetes online live training session. Online live training. And this is my 5th batch, especially in Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. And if you ask me, why did you focus only on Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes when we have different AWS and DevOps things that need to be learned? Usually in any training programs or in any training centers, mostly your DevOps training and AWS training will go for roughly around 40 or 60 days. Let's say 60 days it will be going, assuming it has 1 or 2 hours per day or per session. So that might come roughly around 120 to 130 hours on a large scale. The maximum number of hours that you can spend on Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes can be roughly around 15 to 20 hours. That is the general scenario that the training institutes will follow. And again, there are different training institutes which teach the things in a different way. But with due respect to everyone, I feel personally that Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes are the most important things in order to become a DevOps engineer. If you know how to work with the creation of the pipelines, if you know how to create a Docker images, and if you know how to run the Docker containers, how to work with the Kubernetes cluster, what are the different elements that need to be understood in the Kubernetes cluster, 90% of your DevOps interviews are done. The rest of the 10% of the interviews or the 10% of interview will be happening from the rest of the tools that are there, including Terraform as well. So Terraform is also considered as one of the most important things. So since many of us lack sufficient details on these 3 tools or these 3 DevOps practices, I thought of starting the batches only related to Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, which will be essential for anyone to become a DevOps engineer, and which is very important to learn as well at a deep level. And I know that by the time you finish your AWS classes and come to DevOps classes, and then you go back to Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, which will be the end part of your training program. If anyone has taken the training sessions, those These three things, mostly they'll come in the end of your training program. By this time, you will be vexed up. You'll be having like, I have learned too many things. And you might feel slight declined towards not concentrating on these three tools or these three practices. That is where actually most of us are doing wrong, or most of the students who are undergoing training, they're actually doing wrong. And that's the whole intention of this entire training. Why not focus on only these tools specifically for a given number of days or given number of hours? And that's the motivation behind the start of this particular batches. And this is your fifth batch, where I have successfully completed 4 batches. And this is the very first batch that I am starting in this year. In 2025, this is the first batch which I am starting. And in 2024, I have finished 4 batches only on this particular train. And if you ask me why you haven't started any of the batches in this year, why this is the first batch? Because I had my commitments regarding my PhD, and I had my commitments regarding my professional work. And also I had my commitments related to the training for different edutech firms. So because of all those commitments, I could not start. So now I have made some time for this particular batch, which is especially dedicated for Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. And coming to the duration of this batch, it will be going for 30 days, excluding holidays. I'll be taking 30 days, and the sessions will be from Monday to Friday. Okay, the sessions will be from Monday to Friday. And on any given date, if I miss out any session, that particular session will be covered on either Saturday and Sunday, depending upon the student's requirement and student's availability. But in a week, for sure, 5 days, the sessions will be happening. And each day, the session will be there for 1.5 hours. So a total of 45 hours we are going to spend. Okay, 45 plus hours we are going to spend for this entire training program, which I feel it is more than sufficient to learn Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. So these are the session timings. With respect to the timings, every day from 5 o'clock in the evening to 6:30 in the evening, the sessions will be happening. And related to the sessions, like recorded sessions, notes, and all those things, I'll be letting you know in some time. But this is basic. These are the basic details which I would like to give with respect to the training part. And coming to the course fee. So as you all are aware, the course or the training fee is 5,000 rupees, which I personally feel it's quite minimal. And I have been keeping the same fee for the last 4 batches as well. So I don't increase the training fee at any given point of time as far as Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes is concerned, because my intention is to reach the maximum people by providing sufficient knowledge which I possess. So that's why I kept a minimal fee, which I feel minimal even if for you as well.
நம்ம போயிட்டு வரலாம் அப்போ.
Kindly mute your mics. Kindly mute yourself. Don't unmute. If you have questions, you can please unmute and you can ask. But anyway, I'll let you know. Right. So this is the training fee, and the entire fee has to be paid at one time itself. So this is a one-time payment only. So kindly don't ask me to work for, I'll pay it in 2 installments or something like that. But if anybody is having genuinely a financial problem, like please contact me on LinkedIn. Please contact me on WhatsApp. I'll be letting you know by understanding your situation. And the fee has to be paid through fee payment method. So the fee has to be paid to this particular number, either on Google Pay or on Phone Pay. So please use this number either on Phone Pay or Google Pay, and you will be finding my name, which is linked with this number. That's Kastro Kiran. Okay, Kastro Kiran Vippala. You will be finding that name. So please do the payment. And once you do the payment, I need 3 details from your end. So once you do the payment, please send your payment receipt or the screenshot of your payment. Send your payment receipt to the above number on WhatsApp. So I have the WhatsApp on the same number. You can find the same number in the WhatsApp group. I hope everyone who has joined this session has joined the WhatsApp group. If anybody has not joined, I'll be giving you that link in the end of the session as well. So send your payment receipt to the above number, which is this particular number on WhatsApp. Along with this, I need your name, and I also need your email ID, and I also need your WhatsApp number as well, because most of the communications regarding to this training will be happening through WhatsApp only. Parallelly, I'll also be sending the email communications as well, but most of the communications will happen on WhatsApp. So that's why I need your WhatsApp number as well. So these are the few details that I would like to give with respect to introduction to the training part. So now coming back to the course. So in this course, I'll be covering everything in terms of modules. So let's discuss about the course modules and syllabus overview. So when I launched this particular training, many of you has asked, what is the course syllabus? What are all things that you are going to cover in each of these things? So I told to most of them that I'll be covering in the demo session, so which I'll be doing it now. So this course or this training program will have 3 different modules. One is Jenkins. Kindly mute yourself. Don't unmute. Kindly. First one is Jenkins, and the second one is Docker, and the third one is Kubernetes. So these are the 3 different modules which I am going to cover as part of this training program. So what things that I am going to cover in Jenkins? What are the things that I am going to cover in Docker? What are the things that I am going to cover in Kubernetes? So let me discuss these elements as well, which will give you a broad idea about what specific things I'll be focusing here. So in Jenkins, I'll be first starting with everything that is related to manual deployment of application. Because that is essential to understand the problems with manual deployment, where we'll be using Tomcat as a web server. That's the basic thing that we are going to do. And once we do that one, then we are going to talk about introduction to CI/CD. So what is meant by CI? What is meant by CD? How that concept came into the market? What is the use case of that term called CI and CD? And what are the different CI and CD tools that are available in the market? CI and CD tools available in the market, and why to prefer Jenkins above all of the tools that are there in the market, that we are going to understand. And then we'll be talking about architecture of Jenkins. Okay, architecture of Jenkins. And then we'll be focusing on the most important thing, which is set up Jenkins. Okay, set up Jenkins on Linux instance, Ubuntu instance as well, on Linux and Ubuntu operating systems. I'll let you know the prerequisites of this course, but before that, I'll just give the overview about these modules. So how to set up Jenkins on Linux and Ubuntu, that also will be discussed. Along with that, we are going to see the creation of Jenkins jobs. Okay, creation of Jenkins jobs. So here specifically, we have 2 types of jobs on a large scale. One is called as the freestyle projects, and the second one is a pipeline project. Along with this, we'll also be talking about multi-branch pipeline as well. Okay, multi-branch pipeline as well. So these 3 things we are going to explore individually on a large scale, not at a plain level, on a large scale. That's one thing. And then we'll be talking about the importance of Jenkins file. And we'll be also talking about Jenkins plugins, configurations in Jenkins, credentials tool management in Jenkins. All of these things will be focused. And then we'll also be talking about build with parameters concept, that is parameterized jobs, which is again very important, parameterized jobs. And then we'll be focusing on Jenkins shared libraries as well. Jenkins shared libraries. And we'll also be focusing on Jenkins master and slave architecture. Master and slave architecture. And finally, we'll be closing our Jenkins by understanding RBAC concept. RBAC concept. So where we'll be focusing on how to secure Jenkins by using RBAC. And we also have different things, that is O authentication, that is OAuth, and SSO. Those things also will be focused. So these are the major things that we are going to focus. But once we start talking about each one of these, individual level, we'll be talking about much greater things also. Here I'm just giving an overall depth of the concept that we are going to discuss. But along with this, as part of discussing all these elements, we'll be focusing more minor elements as well, like backup, how to take the backup of Jenkins job, how to do the deployment, how to get the build artifacts into the Nexus. All those things will be covered. And as part of Jenkins, I'll also be talking about SonarQube, which is a code quality analysis tool. And we'll also be talking about Nexus, which is used to store the artifacts. That is on a large scale that we are going to discuss in Jenkins. Along with these, we are also going to focus on a couple of projects in the Jenkins as well. Okay, the projects which we are going to focus, I'll keep it as major and mini projects. Some projects will be major, some projects will be mini. I'll let you know what are the differences between major projects and mini projects. You'll be understanding that in some time. So here on a large scale, we are going to see the first project which we are going to focus is related to deploying a Java application, that is Java-based application. And we'll also be focusing on project 2, which focuses on deploying a Python-based application. And we'll also be seeing another project which is related to deploying a Node.js-based application. So that you will be understanding how to deploy the Java-based application, Python-based application, and Node.js-based application. So that you'll get an overview about how the different codes which are developed by using different programming languages will be deployed into the Jenkins. And here, when I say deploying Java applications, it is not just the CI/CD pipeline alone. We are going to do this on a large scale. Let's say integrating with Maven, integrating with S3 buckets, especially in AWS cloud, integrating with SonarQube, integrating with Nexus, integrating with master and slave architecture. So everything will be covered in these projects on a large scale. So these are the 3 main projects that we are going to discuss. Along with that, we are also going to get some kinds of assignments with respect to these projects so that you will be figuring it out how to do the deployments on your own as well. So that's something which is related to Jenkins. So I hope I am clear what I am going to discuss in the Jenkins module. Now, let's talk about what I am going to focus on Docker module or in the Docker module. So in the Docker, we'll be first understanding application architecture in general. What is the application architecture? And we'll be talking about the concept of containerization, why containerization came into picture, what are the advantages of working with the containerization, how we can work with the containerization on a large scale. All these elements we are going to focus in this particular thing. And again, we'll be talking about Docker architecture also, which is again very important to understand. Docker architecture, Docker workflow, and then we'll be seeing how to do the installation of Docker in Linux-based instances and Ubuntu-based instances. That's again one more thing which we are going to focus. Before I proceed further, is my voice clear for everyone? Could you please confirm me once again?
So
Yes.
your voice is
Yes.
very clear.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Right. So once after we work with installation of Docker and Docker Hub, then we are going to work with Docker images concept. One is default Docker images, and we'll also see how to create the custom images as well. And in the process of creating the custom Docker images, we need to understand the concept of Docker file. So what is a Docker file? How to write the Docker file? What are the different elements that are there in the Docker file? All of these things we are going to focus. Just the Docker file alone, we are going to focus it for 3 hours. So I don't know how many of you have learned Docker file in that stretch, but I am going to focus Docker file related things just only for 3 hours, which is very, very important to understand, because that's where we work in the real-time scenarios of understanding Docker file. So that's why I'm going to focus 3 hours, which is more acts compared to the things that are happening outside. That's what Docker file we are going to work. And then we are going to see how to build the custom Docker images using Docker file and without using Docker file as well. So we'll create the Docker images using the Docker file, and we'll also create the Docker images without using Docker file. So both of those things will be covered. And then we'll be focusing on a concept of port mapping, which is again very, very important in Docker. What is port mapping? What is meant by host port number? What is meant by container port number? All of those things we'll be focusing. And once we focus on port mapping, then we'll start working on Docker containers, where we are actually going to deploy the application inside the Docker containers, and we'll access the container. So how to deploy the applications in the Docker container, how to go inside a Docker container, and how to see what are the things that are there inside a Docker container, and how to access the application that is running inside a Docker container. All of those things will be focused on Docker containers concept. And here we are also going to discuss a couple of projects as well. Okay, a couple of projects as well. But before that, here we are also going to talk about another concept which is called as a Docker volumes. Docker volumes. We will see what are the different types of Docker volumes that are there, and how to work with different Docker volumes, how to create a Docker volume using a Docker file, how to create a Docker volume using commands, and how to use the concept of volume mounting, what is meant by bind mounting or mounting the volumes. And we'll be talking about how to move files, moving files from local machine to Docker container. Let's say I have some files in my local machine. I want to move the files from my personal system to Docker container. That also we are going to see. And then we'll be talking about Docker networking. In Docker networking, again, we have different networking concept, bridge driver, overlay driver. Like this, we have different elements. So we'll be focusing on Docker networking. And we'll be focusing on Docker Swarm as well. But before that, we'll be talking about Docker Compose, how we are going to use Docker Compose, how to deploy the applications using Docker Compose, what is Docker Compose, and how does it differ from just the Docker concept or the plain Docker concept that we are going to see. And finally, we'll be closing our Docker concept by understanding Docker Swarm, by creating a cluster and all those things. Docker Swarm cluster. That's with respect to Docker concept. Again, in Docker, we are going to discuss a couple of projects. Each module will be coming up with the projects. So that's very important again. And here in Docker, I'll be focusing again on 3 different projects. One is deploying a Java-based application, deploying a Spring Boot-based application, a Spring Boot Java application. I'll call this as normal Java application and Python-based application. That's project 2. And then we'll be focusing on working with the Spring Boot Java application, Spring Boot Java application. And we'll also be focusing on another thing, which is Angular application, Angular, so that you'll understand what are the differences between the deployments of different applications which are developed by using different programming languages, which is again very important to understand. If you learn only how to deploy a Java-based application, and tomorrow when you are working in the organization, if they have asked you, or in the interview, if they have asked you, how will you deploy a Python-based application? Let's say you have claimed yourself that I have 3 years of experience. Now, obviously, when you are having 3 years of experience, you should have an idea about deploying different applications which are developed by using different programming languages. So that's why we are going to focus on deploying the different based applications in the Docker. And we are also going to talk about container applications as well, container-based applications. So which I call it as a multi-container based application. Okay, multi-container based application. So how will you deploy multi-container applications? Again, that can be developed by using any of the programming languages, but mostly we'll be focusing on deploying multi-container based application. And we'll also be focusing on working with microservices application. So we'll understand what is a microservice concept also in Docker, because Docker is all about microservices only. So deploying a microservices application, microservices based application. And we'll be doing one final project, which is with respect to Docker, where we are going to see how to integrate Jenkins with Docker Compose. Okay, with the Docker and Docker Compose. So that is again one more project which we are going to do. So if you ask me why I'm integrating with Jenkins, because in real time, everything that we do it as a CI/CD process only. So if you know how to do these things, that is not sufficient. These are just for your understanding. But the main things comes when you know how to integrate Jenkins with Docker, Jenkins with Docker Compose, and do the local deployments. So that is why this project is included here. So these are the 7 projects which we are going to focus on Docker on a large scale. So now let's talk about Kubernetes concept. So what exactly I am going to cover as part of this Kubernetes training. Again, this is very, very important. And we are going to spend more time on understanding Kubernetes. Mostly we will spend roughly around 7 days on Jenkins, 7 days on Docker, and the remaining days, whatever that are there, let's say 16 to 17 days or 18 days, we'll be focusing on Kubernetes only. Okay, Kubernetes only. So this may come for 7 days, Jenkins, which will be each day 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So that will be almost 10 plus hours. And this will be again 10 plus hours. And this will be going roughly around 25 to 30 hours. Where by that itself, you can understand how much I'm going to focus on Kubernetes. Now let's understand or let's see what are the main things that I'm going to cover in Kubernetes. So again, Kubernetes is very vast concept. You can learn as much as you want, but it all depends on what is your intention of learning Kubernetes? Are you writing a Kubernetes certification exam? Are you learning the Kubernetes for your job aspects? Or are you learning to upgrade yourself? So there are different aspects to learn the tools. But my particular training will not be focused largely on any of the certification exams. So if you are thinking that when I teach Kubernetes, you will be learning the CKA examination, Certified Kubernetes Administrator, or any of the Kubernetes certification exams, please don't join the sessions because I am not going to focus on Kubernetes training. So I'm telling it in the beginning itself, which I want you to clear also. Because I have spoke with a couple of you guys. I mean, you have called me and I have also cleared that particular element even on call also. But I want to tell it on the live session as well. My sessions will not focus on any of the certification exams. My sessions are purely based for job aspects. So I'll teach in that way only. Certification exam related points also I'll discuss, but not certification exam concept alone. Okay, please be reminded about that factor. So here we'll be talking about Kubernetes introduction. So I'll just keep it as a K8s every time. Instead of writing the lengthy word, I'll just keep it as K8s, which again represents Kubernetes. And then we'll be talking about what is meant by orchestration. Orchestration, basically Kubernetes is an orchestration platform only, ORATI. What is meant by orchestration? Orchestration, and how Kubernetes will work with the orchestration concept. And we'll be seeing the Kubernetes architecture, which is very, very important to understand. And then we'll be working with the Kubernetes cluster creation of a Kubernetes cluster. Again, there are different ways of creating a Kubernetes cluster. Either you can go with Minikube, Kubedium, KOps. Like this, we have different aspects. Again, in managed Kubernetes clusters like EKS, GKE, AKE, like this, we have different methods of creating the clusters. So I'll be showing a couple of them, and I'll also be showing how to create a cluster directly in the console, and also by executing commands, and also by executing the Jenkins pipeline. That also we are going to see 3 different ways of creating the cluster. Now here, especially in my entire training, I'll be focusing on AWS cloud only. I'll not be focusing on any of the other clouds. But if you have any questions or if you get any questions, I'm open to clarify your questions, but my training is purely on AWS cloud. So I'll be focusing on EKS part, Elastic Kubernetes Service. Okay, Elastic Kubernetes Service, which is again commonly used. 95% of the organizations in the real time, they are using EKS for the production level deployment. Okay, if you are deploying an application in the production environment, mostly we'll go with managed Kubernetes cluster only. And here you don't have to bother about whether I'm focusing on EKS, GKE, or AKE. The commands will remain same. Only the creation of cluster will change. In AWS, we have a different method to create a cluster. In Google Cloud, we have a different method to create a cluster. Only the method of creating the cluster will change. But the commands, the working phenomena, everything will remain same. So whether you are someone who wants to learn GKE or someone who wants to learn AKE, you just have to focus on how to create a GKE cluster or how to create a AKE cluster or how to create a Kubedium or Minikube clusters. Again, Minikube, Kubedium, they are again different entities because they are actually a single node cluster and multi-node cluster, which we will see it in the sessions also. But as far as my training is concerned, I'll be focusing completely on EKS, which is Elastic Kubernetes Service. So that's related to creation of Kubernetes cluster. And once we create the Kubernetes cluster, then we are going to talk about creation of pods, creation and working with the pods, which is again a most important component in your entire Kubernetes. Because whatever applications that we are deploying, all our applications will be deployed inside the pod only. So we'll be seeing how to create a pod and how to work with pod, how to go inside a pod, how to access the pod. Different ways are there. We'll be talking about that. So the pod creation, and in the process of pod creation, we are also going to see methods of creating resources, methods of creating Kubernetes resources. There are different methods. One is by using YML files, and another one is by using commands. So we call them as imperative and declarative. So the different methods are there. We'll be focusing on both of the things. How to create the Kubernetes resource using in an imperative way and also in a declarative way. That is by using commands, and that's by using YMLs. And I'll also be focusing on YML concept as well. So what is YML or YAML? How to write a YAML file or YML file? How to make sure the pod logs are accessed, accessing the pod or what is there inside the pod, AML architecture or AML structure. So what is meant by pod manifest file? What are labels, annotations, selector, everything we are going to focus here. Again, since I cannot write each and everything, I'm just telling it out instead of writing. But again, we'll be seeing that directly in the live sessions also. And then we'll be talking about Kubernetes resources or Kubernetes services, I'll call it as. So there are different ways of working with Kubernetes services. So we'll be understanding what is a Kubernetes service, why we need to work with Kubernetes service, what are the different Kubernetes services that are available, such as cluster IP, node port, load balancer, ingress. All of those things will be covered under Kubernetes services. And we'll also be focusing on Kubernetes controllers as well. Kubernetes controllers, where we'll be focusing on replication controller, replication set, deployments, stateful containers, stateless containers, daemon sets. All of those things will be covered here, including cron jobs as well. Cron jobs as well. And then we'll be talking about deployment strategies. Deployment strategies that are there in Kubernetes. We have deployment strategies, something like recreate, rolling update, rollback, blue-green deployment, canary deployment. Like this, we have different deployment strategies, and we'll be doing a project on deployment strategies as well, especially related to blue-green deployment. Again, I'll be telling that in some time. So that's related to deployment strategies. And we'll be focusing next on config maps and secrets. Config maps and secrets. So why it is used? What is the importance of working with the config map and secrets with respect to security aspect of the Kubernetes resources? That is where config maps and secrets are used. And then we'll be talking about Kubernetes storage components. Okay, Kubernetes storage, where we'll be talking about Kubernetes volumes. Just like how we have Docker volumes, in Kubernetes also we have Kubernetes volumes. So those are called as a PV, PVC, that is a persistent volume claim. These are the two different storage components that are there in the Kubernetes. And we'll also be talking about EBS driver also. In AWS, we have a service called EBS. We have a feature called EBS, Elastic Block Storage. In EC2, we have. So AWS EBS CSA driver, we are going to see how to create it. And if anybody have attended my CI/CD lab session, which happened last Sunday, so I have talked about this one. I don't know how many of you have attended that one, but anyway, I'll be focusing as part of training on a large scale with respect to this particular thing. That is about Kubernetes storage part, where we'll be talking mostly on persistent volume and persistent volume claim. And then we'll be talking about ingress controllers, which is again most important thing to route the traffic to different ways like HTTP, HTTPS. And we'll be talking about network policies also. Network policies as well. Okay. And we'll also be talking about readiness probe, liveness probes. Readiness probes and liveness probes. We'll see what is meant by liveness probe, what is meant by readiness probe, how to use that when we are deploying the application. Those things we'll be seeing. And we'll be talking about scheduling in Kubernetes. Scheduling, and I'll also include node management. So node management, we have different concepts such as node affinity, pod affinity, anti-affinity, taints and tolerances, cluster upgradation, horizontal pod autoscaler, HPA, vertical pod autoscaler, VPA. All of those things will be focusing on scheduling and node management. And then we'll be talking about the concept of RBAC, just like how we have in Jenkins, we have RBAC. Similarly, in Kubernetes also we have RBAC. So that also we are going to focus. Along with RBAC, we'll be seeing some security aspects as well. We have covered security aspects here also, but some of the other concepts which are left over, I'll be focusing while discussing RBAC concept with respect to security part. Okay, like we have IRSA and a couple of others. We'll be focusing there. And we'll also be talking about Helm. Again, Helm alone, we can go for 7 to 8 days. So you don't need to learn in depth of Helm. If you just know what is a Helm chart, how to do or how to work with Helm charts, how to make sure the deployments are going to happen using Helm charts. That if you know that is more than fine. No need to learn Helm at a deep level because there are alternatives that are coming up to as a replacement to Helm. But again, still we are going to focus on Helm as well. And then we'll be talking about monitoring part. Okay, monitoring part, where we'll be talking about Prometheus, Grafana, ELK stack as well. ELK stack as well. Scale, we'll be focusing on these, and then we'll be focusing on cost optimization as a last part of Kubernetes. So these are the different things that I'm going to cover as part of Kubernetes training or Kubernetes sessions. Again, these are all main concepts only, but when we talk about each one of these, we need to discuss multiple things. There are different things that comes here. For example, if I talk about Kubernetes services, I have to talk about cluster IP, node port, load balancer, headless service, ingress, those things we have to talk. So I have just mentioned the main concept, but inside each main concept, again, we have multiple things. So that is the reason why I'm going to focus on Kubernetes on a large scale, because I have to tell you each and every one of these things so that you'll understand the factors. So this is all about your course curriculum, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, and which I feel it is sufficient for everyone. And here also we are going to do the projects. So here we are going to do a couple of projects. So let me list out them, major and mini projects. So one project which we are going to do is deploying different applications. Let's say one is a Book My Show application, a clone, not an original Book My Show, a clone application, deploying a Swiggy application, deploying a Zomato application, and then deploying, blue-green deployment, and then creation of a EKS cluster using Jenkins and Terraform. And then we'll be focusing on one more project, which is deploying, let's say I'll have this application, which is a leave management application. And if time permits, I'll be focusing on any other projects that I may create during this period. Okay, I'll write the code and I'll do the deployment part. But as far as you know, like this, these are all available already on my YouTube channel, except the blue-green deployment part. These three are there on my YouTube channel. And this is also there on my YouTube channel. This one and this one are not available on my YouTube channel. So I'll be discussing as part of your training sessions, these two things. Along with that, if time permits, and if we have sufficient time and if everyone is okay, we'll be doing one more project in a different way. That also we'll see it. The possibility of things we'll see it. But as far as this entire Kubernetes projects are concerned, these are the different things which we are going to do. And remember, every module will come up with at least the 2 or 3 assignment parts. At least the 2 assignments you are going to get, because that is how we will learn the things. If I just go with my own flow, you may be understanding what is happening with me. But if you want to know what is happening with you, you should do the assignments. Again, assignments, when I say, they are not like, okay, you have to do the assignment, you have to submit it to me. No, it's not that. We are not in that stage. We are in the stage where we have to check ourselves, not to prove to anyone. So since we need to check ourselves, or the skill set that we need to check for ourselves, I'll be giving those assignments. Those assignments, completing the assignments is completely up to you. If you do it, it would be good. You will get better experience. You will get to know more and more errors. You will try to resolve the things and all that part. And as part of this training, I'll also be using ChatGPT as well, because I'll make you understand how ChatGPT will work, or even DeepSeek. We have another LLM model. These are basically LLM models, large language models. Okay, we generally call it as AI tools. Generally, we should not call them as AI tools. These are basically LLM models. So we'll be seeing how to work with ChatGPT and DeepSeek as part of our training, so that you will also get familiarized how to use ChatGPT, how to use DeepSeek. Along with that, we'll also be focusing on Jira, which is basically a ticketing tool, either Jira or Slack, but I'll try to focus on Jira rather than Slack, because those are notifications and all that part will be included. Again, I'll be focusing on Jira on a large scale. If time permits, I'll take maybe 1 day extra and I'll focus on Slack also. No issues with that. But as far as current commitment is concerned, I'll focus on Jira. And remember, in order to join this particular course, there is a prerequisite which I want every one of you must have an idea about. The idea is you should know AWS Cloud. Okay, you should know AWS Cloud. And especially in AWS, we have EC2 service, which is used to launch the instances, because ultimately we'll work with servers only. And we'll also be working with the IAM, Identity and Access Management, and S3 buckets, S3 service. If you have a basic idea about EC2, that is how to launch an instance, how to create an IAM role, IAM user, how to attach the policies, how to create an S3 bucket, these things, then you are free to join this course. You can consider yourself that you can join this course. But again, sorry, I don't know any of these things. Can I still join? I would say yes, you can still join. I'll be focusing, however, on how to launch an EC2 instance, how to create an IAM role, how to create an IAM user, how to attach a policies to the user, how to create the buckets in S3. These things I'll focus, however I'll focus. But if you have a knowledge, it would be good for from your end. That's one prerequisite with respect to AWS Cloud. And make sure you have the Linux fundamentals, basic commands in Linux, creating a directory, listing the files, creating a files. These basic details, if you have an idea, that would be more than sufficient to work with either Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. Along with this, the other prerequisite which you need to have is to have the AWS account, because we are going to work with EKS cluster. So EKS cluster, we are going to create in the AWS cloud. So we need to have an AWS account. And if you don't have also, no problem. You can go and create one AWS account, which is completely free of cost. And you are going to get 1 year of free tier account. So for 1 year, you can completely use that account. No issues with that. So if anybody is not having an AWS account, please go and create an AWS account. Okay, if you want any reference video related to AWS account creation, you can let me know at the end of the session. I'll give you that video link reference also. So this is about the entire course content which I want to discuss in Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes training. Coming to the next part, which is course highlights. So what are why you need to consider joining this course, or what are the course highlights? So almost 10 plus real-time projects we are going to do. 10 plus real-time projects we are going to do, which is again more than sufficient for anyone. And completely hands-on sessions. No purely theory will not be discussed. Completely hands-on sessions will be there. So it will be like 70% practicals and 30% theory. Obviously, theory we need to understand before we work with any of the practicals. So, but however, completely hands-on practical sessions only. Nothing related to just the theory part. Everything is practical along with theory included. And then the access to the videos and notes. So whatever the notes and whatever the videos that are being recorded, all those videos you will be getting lifetime access. So you don't have to bother about the recorded videos. I'll be giving you that. You don't have to bother about the lecture notes, the commands, files, everything, the code, GitHub repositories, everything will be given to you as part of training. So you don't have to bother about that, and it will be a lifetime access. The recorded videos, lecture notes, commands, YML files, everything will be given. And also assignments will be given as part of this training, as I said earlier. So assignments after or during each module. Each module will also be provided, which is again going to help you to better understand the concept. And at the end of each module, interview questions, commonly asked interview questions will be provided. A list of interview questions will be provided. So you can have a check into that one as well. And I'll also be giving you a guidance on resume preparation as well. Okay, those who don't have a resume or those who need guidance to prepare resumes, I'll be providing you the guidance, resume preparation guidance. And don't expect me to create your resume. It's your resume, so you have to create. It's not me. But if you ask me a help, so how this can be written or how this can be integrated in my resume, I'll be happy to help you out throughout the training, starting from day 1 till day last. I'll be helping you through the resume at any given point of time if you come up with any query related to resumes. And there will be a dedicated WhatsApp group will be there where I'll be continuously posting, throughout your training, whatever the alerts that I'm going to get. So job alerts will be posted on this particular thing on the WhatsApp group. And as I said earlier, whatever the training that you are going to get or whatever the content that you are going to get, you can claim yourself that you have 3+ years of real-time experience. Okay, 3+ years of real-time experience. That means whoever the candidate who is having 3 years real experience or real-time experience, that will be the same level of knowledge which I'll be giving it to you. Even more also, but that is my guarantee that 3+ years of candidate, whatever the skill set that they are going to have, the same level of knowledge that I'm going to give, that you can easily see by looking into my course curriculum itself. When I'm talking about these many things, that actually means it's not for beginners. This course is not for beginners, or this training is not for beginners. This is completely for the people who are looking for a job, because ultimately we need to have a job. That's the end goal for all of us. So 3+ real-time experience candidate, whatever he is posting or she is posting, the same thing I'll be giving as part of this training. So these are some of the course highlights which I can tell as of now. And if you ask me, why should you join this course? As I said previously itself, you have the real-time projects which will be discussed. You will have the assignments which will be given. Okay, so based on that, you can consider real-world use cases and projects which I'll be focusing as part of this training, and also how to deploy the applications from scratch. Deploy the application from scratch. That also we are going to focus. So these are the two things which I can clearly tell that you can consider joining this course. Again, it's all up to your interest and your considerations. But you can see the course curriculum and many things that I have discussed so far. Based on that, you can decide. And the training methodology, how it goes is training methodology. As I said earlier, it will be 70% practicals with 30% theory included. Okay, 70% practicals and 30% theory included. So you can call this as 30% hands-on instead of practicals. We'll call it as hands-on. Okay, and then the other aspect of this training is weekly revisions will be there. Okay, weekly revisions will be there, and also Q&A sessions will be available. Okay, Q&A sessions will be available. So where I'll be discussing a couple of interview questions as part of the training or during the training period. Okay, and if any error comes, we'll do the live debugging only. Okay, live debugging either by using ChatGPT or Gemini or DeepSeek. We'll be using that and we'll be doing the live debugging of the errors so that you'll also get to know how to do the live debugging and how to use the ChatGPT or DeepSeek, whatever the LLM models that we have, that one. That's again one more thing which I would like to tell. And coming to the system requirements, let's say you need to have a laptop for this one. So make sure you have a laptop, and whatever sessions that you are going to attend, kindly attend using laptop. At least from tomorrow, don't attend the sessions using the mobile phones because you don't get a clear view of what is being discussed. Attend the sessions using laptop only, which I would highly recommend. That's the only system requirement that you have. If you have a basic laptop also, that is more than fine to do that, because everything we'll do it in a cloud, not in our laptops. Mostly we'll write the YML files or Jenkins file, Docker file in our laptops, but that doesn't consume much of the storage capacity and all of those things. So that's with respect to the system requirements, which I would like to discuss. And the other things, or the last thing which I can tell is with respect to the success stories. So there are different students. As I mentioned, I have trained more than 800 students. So if you go to my LinkedIn and if you see my LinkedIn profile, you will be able to see the different feedbacks which were given by the students who they got trained under me. And you can see the feedback from them, and you can decide whether I am the right trainer for you or whether you are the right fit for this training program or not. You can decide all of that by yourself only by going into my LinkedIn. You are free to go and look into the LinkedIn. I'll be providing you the LinkedIn URL in the WhatsApp group which you have joined, and that will be given it as part of your. So that is all which I would like to discuss as part of day one of this demo session. This session is purely related to what I'll be covering as part of this training program and what are the different aspects that you can expect from this training program. So from tomorrow, tomorrow we'll be starting the session at 5 o'clock only, which will be happening for till 6:30 again. So from tomorrow, we are actually going to start the sessions. Okay, we are going to start the sessions because today I thought of focusing only on the course content, because you all must be expecting what is the course content. Is it a plain level thing or is it a deep level thing? So you all must be having that part. So that's why I focused mostly on course aspects here. So that is all related to this particular thing. So if you have any questions or if you would like to tell anything, so you can please unmute yourself one by one, and I'll be taking your questions. So, yeah, please go on.
Yeah, sir. First of all, good evening to all. My name is Jagadish. My question is, I don't know anything for the Docker and Kubernetes and CI/CD pipeline.
Yeah.
So you starting from basics and to advanced, right?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, everything will be from the beginner level to advanced level.
Yeah. So how to write the, Docker customized file and YAML file?
Yes,
and,
everything will be covered from
what-
scratch only.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Whatever
sir.
the
Thank
3
you.
modules that I am going to cover, I'll be covering from scratch only, not from beginner. I mean, not from the intermediate level. It will be from scratch.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
Sir, is it possible to cover this all things in 1 month?
Yeah. It is possible. I have covered in previous batches also.
Okay.
We may get some extra 2-3 days as well. Like it may not go exactly 30 days. Maybe more. Maybe let's say plus or minus 2 or 3 days will come also, based on the projects, based on the speed that we are going. But yeah, the 30 days will be more than fine, which will come 30 into 1.5 hours. That will be 45 to 50 hours, which is again, I feel it's more than sufficient.
Okay. Sir, one more question. Can you show also deploy the service in Kubernetes using database, Postgres, and Redis?
Yes. It's a 3-tier applications we are going to discuss. We are going to deploy. Yes.
Okay. And what about the recording section, videos?
Yeah, as I said, everything will be given to you. Recorded videos, notes, everything will be given to you.
Okay. When will we means when you give the recorded videos? After
I mean,
the
as soon as session gets completed, probably within 1 or 2 hours, you can expect the recorded session.
okay.
Or at least by night. Let's say now we are going to finish the session. Let's say by today night, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, you will be getting the recorded session. Mostly within 2 hours, you will get it at any cost. But if I miss out that 2 hours of time, by the end of night, you will be getting that. By end of day, you will be receiving a everyday recorded session for sure. Or at least 90% of the times, I'll be following that one.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions for anyone?
Kiran, I'm Shivan.
Yeah. Hi, Shiva.
Kiran, yeah, your way of course connects everything is good, Kiran. I'm looking to interest to join. Actually, I'm working as system administrator. Okay.
Okay.
So I moved to DevOps. I have no experience. So how can I manage this to DevOps?
I mean, have you gone through any of the DevOps tools? I mean, DevOps practices like Git, GitHub, Maven, those things, Terraform, Ansible.
I have knowledge, but late time no experience. I did not get the Terraform.
But what I can say from this is like I can give you 100% of guidance, whatever that is required with respect to the other tools or other services that are there. But this training is specifically focusing on Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. But if you need any kind of guidance, like what tools to be learned, at what level I have to learn, I will be happy to provide that in the WhatsApp communication or in the LinkedIn communication. It's completely, I'll be providing that one. No issues with that.
Okay. And also give the resume preparation, right?
Yes. That guidance will also be provided.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Kiran. This is Raju.
Hi, Raju. Please go.
Yeah, hi. So regarding Jenkins, I have one question. So you said, I mean, Jenkins file we will create, right? I mean, Jenkins jobs we will create via pipeline. So are you using declarative or Groovy script for that?
Declarative, because Groovy script an older one and it's an outdated one.
Okay. So in real time also, I mean, people will use declarative.
Declarative. Yes. Groovy is outdated. If nobody is, if you want to write a Groovy script, again, you need to learn Groovy language.
Okay.
So nobody writes in Groovy scripts. It's all about declarative only.
Okay. And I have heard something like Jenkins also replacing by some, I mean, Circle CI.
Yeah, no, Circle CI is already replaced by Jenkins.
Okay. Argo CD?
Before Jenkins, we have Circle CI, and we also have other tools. But as I don't say it as a replacement, as an alternative, we are getting GitHub Actions also.
Okay.
Yeah. Circle CI is completely outdated. Nobody uses Circle CI.
Okay. What about Argo CD? Is it competitive?
Yeah, Argo CD will be covered as part of your training program. I mean, during the projects, I'll be covering this one, Argo CD.
Okay.
One deployment
okay,
we'll be doing as part of Argo CD.
Okay. And one more question, like
Yeah.
now artificial intelligence, so everyone is integrating, right? So
Yeah.
what is your comment on this? Like, is this DevOps is replacing? I mean, how much it will be? And so
no, see, I don't think that DevOps jobs will be replaced by AI or even developers or any of the jobs. The only thing which I mean, this was the same question which was asked during my Sunday session, which happened for free of cost. So what I would tell you is, like, if you don't know how, or if you are not learning the AI tools, obviously it's us who is going to lose the job. It's not because AI is going to take your job. It's always because you are not learning AI, so your job is at stake. That's something which, I mean, that's the perspective which I generally see. Because nothing will take your job. Only, I mean, provided condition is if you are not looking into learning the things or upgrading your skill, obviously you will be back to all the existing members, and you are the end person who will be suffering. But I see it strongly as it's we who should learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in future, maybe we will integrate AI with DevOps tools, and we can.
Yeah, we will be doing. Yes. If there is a requirement in that way, yes, definitely we have to do, and we have to learn things in that way.
Okay. So I mean, with 1 month, you will cover the real-time 3 years experience, as you said, right?
Yes.
So that is, I mean, that much knowledge you are giving.
Yes,
right?
that's for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
So if possible, so mostly I have seen your videos on YouTube. It is very useful.
Oh, thank you.
Zomato and Swiggy. Yeah. So basically, other trainers are giving like just this is, hello world, something like that. They are giving that one message, but you are implementing some real kind of thing. So please try to implement more projects. I mean,
definitely, I'll be doing that. In YouTube, every month, at least one in a month, I'll be giving one project. That's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, please go on.
Sir, actually, for joining this course, we should have some basic knowledge about Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, or beginner.
No need. With respect to Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, you don't need to have any knowledge. If you have knowledge, that's fine. But if you don't have also, that's fine.
Okay. Anyway, you can start from the start.
Yes.
Okay, thank
you. Hi, Kiran.
Yeah, hi.
This is Shiva. Like whatever the installations and everything deployments, it is like as compared to the production level, it will be close to production, or
yes. I may not say it's 100%, but it would be 100% production level, because in production environment, again, there are different things that need to be considered. But yeah, close to production level, I can say that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, just a second. There is a WhatsApp group link which I have posted in the chat box. So please access that WhatsApp group link, and you can join in that one, so that you will get the updates regarding tomorrow's session and these details. Yeah, please go on.
Hello.
Yeah, please. Yes, you are.
Sir, I just wanted to ask, sir, any project regarding microservices, like which we deploy in Kubernetes?
Yes, we are going to do that. I mentioned that in the Docker, right? So we are going to do that.
You mentioned the Docker here.
Yeah, we are going to integrate microservices in Kubernetes also.
So these microservices, like how many microservices are there in this project which you mentioned, project number 6?
Let's say maybe 6 to 7.
Okay. That we do through deployment or services only, or we do STU as well, like services?
No, we'll do it purely through deployment.yml and service.yml and the other things like replication set, replica controller, those things also.
So do we implement ingress as well?
Yes, we are going to do that. Okay. We are going to do that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Kiran, one more job.
Yeah.
What about the databases? Whether we have to use Postgres or MySQL?
I'll be using most of the times I'll be using MySQL only, but we can go with Postgres also. But if you are using RDS database instance, then Postgres or Oracle or any other databases, they are like they'll give you at least $2,000 to $3,000 for creation itself. So we'll be going with MySQL, which is again free of cost. But again, we don't use MySQL database as in the AWS cloud, because we'll use it as part of our Docker containers, which is again a kind of real-time scenarios.
Okay, so we can go for MySQL only, right?
Yes. If possible, I'll include Postgres also, but that's as part of Docker container. Because when we deploy it using Docker container, it's completely free of cost, and we can play as much time we need, as much time we can.
Okay.
But if we use RDS, again, it will be like too much of bill will get generated.
Okay, so what about the level of database? Like it will be advanced or it will be what kind?
I'll tell this: creating the database, going inside a database, inserting the data in, inserting the tables in the database or inserting the queries in the database. Let's say you are accessing the application and you are inserting some data in the application. How to have the connection between your front end of the application with the back end of your database. How to, let's say if an user is entering the data in the front end of application in the browser, how that data will come into the database. That level I'm going to cover.
Okay, so we can expect intermediate.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Because we are not database engineers on a large scale, because that is all purely database engineers part.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Hi, Kastro.
Yeah.
Myself,
Raju again.
Can we go with anyone, either Raju or the other one?
Thank you, Kastro. So as I am working as a developer almost 5 years, earlier I was working in the system administrator. Now I am plan to moving the DevOps side. So already I done my AWS certification as well. So you are going to deploying the application kind of Java and Spring Boot and Python applications. So in our office, we are using for the .NET Core application purely. We are working on the product based mostly. So we are supporting the internal customers. So mostly we are using the .NET application. Is this possible to add the .NET application as well?
If possible, I'll try to do that, because I don't know .NET part. Because as a coding part, I don't know .NET. I know Java and Python on a large scale. But .NET, if I get any code, or if you can give me any of the codes which you have, a simple application itself, no need of large application.
It is a complex application actually.
Then I'll do one thing. I'll see if there are any GitHub repositories which are there with the .NET code development, and I'll try to include that. If possible,
okay. And coming to the recording point, so after providing the session, how to provide the access for the recording through OneDrive or Google Drive?
I'll be checking that one. I'll be mostly providing it through OneDrive or Google Drive only. But again, I have to check with that one. But as far as today's session and tomorrow's session is concerned, I'll be uploading it to YouTube, because these are free sessions, and I'll be providing the link in the WhatsApp group itself.
Okay. Fine. Actually, I already started attending the interview, so most probably I will be clearing the first round. The second round, most probably they are asking for the kind of scenario question. There only I'm stuck.
Okay.
In the Kubernetes side only, Terraform I will be clear, Terraform and Docker, but mostly they are asking for the some scenario based question about the Kubernetes. So there only I'm stuck. Jenkins also I'm using currently in this my project. So we are integrating Jenkins to deploying the application and QA development, and production we are working on it.
Okay, great.
Okay, then fine. Is there any alternative time? You are fully going to within the 1 month you are going to complete the task, this course, right?
Again, like 30 to 32 days or maximum 35 days, you can say. Maximum.
Okay.
Not less than 30 days, not more than 35 days.
Including the weekend, right?
No, not weekends, only weekdays, Monday to Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, someone else was also asking. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So in this course, are you going to cover anything about networking part?
Which networking? Kubernetes networking or Docker networking? Both Docker and Kubernetes networking I'll be covering. But if you are asking about as part of networking engineer part, I'm not going to cover, because we are not going to work with custom VPCs and all.
So it is not required, right? For DevOps engineers?
No, it's not required. Mostly that is networking engineers will take care of that in the real-time scenarios. But it's good if you have an idea about how to create a custom VPC, how to create the subnets, how to create the route tables, internet gateway, NAT gateway. If you want to know those things, I already made one video on YouTube, which is on AWS 3-tier architecture project. So that's purely deployed using a custom network only. So you can watch that video. I'll provide that video link in the WhatsApp group also once this session is done.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, yeah, Kiran.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, this is Deepika here. So
Yeah,
I have a question and doubt also. So I come basically my educational background is from medical side, but I am trying to switch my career into DevOps side. So
Okay.
it's been like 1 year. I have been doing my courses and all those things, but I'm unable to find an opportunity like fresher and all those things. But before taking another course, I just want to clear: would it be possible for a non-IT graduate to get an opportunity into on the DevOps side, even if I do courses and upskill myself? I'm doing the projects also, I'm able to do that one. But even though when I'm giving the interviews also, so eligibility is itself is not the right. So I've seen your LinkedIn profile and all those things. Then that's why I'm here so that I can ask my doubts.
I'll tell you couple of scenarios. One is my own example. I am from civil engineering background who has no connection with software.
Okay.
That's one thing. Second thing is I have my cousin who has done biotechnology.
Okay.
But still he's a DevOps engineer in Bangalore.
Okay.
So technically speaking, there is no rule that or there is no constraint like you should be from a specific background or specific computers background or engineering background. If you have the skill and if you are able to prove yourself in the interview, 90% of the times they don't reject based upon your degree. Based upon your degree background.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but here I do have a gap because my graduation is like completed at 2020. So that's why it's becoming.
You have to see how to fill up that gap. Probably we can. Since it's a recorded session, I cannot tell how to fill up that gap. Probably in the. Like in the LinkedIn. If we are connected together, I'll discuss it on LinkedIn. Otherwise, I'll talk about that in the personal WhatsApp group, personal WhatsApp communication also. That would be fine.
Sure, Kiran. Thanks for your response. Yeah.
Okay, Dharma. No issues. You can please step on. Right. So I think. Any other question?
Hi, Kiran. This
Manjunath.
Hi. I think last 1 year I have been connected to you. I know in
great.
WhatsApp. So been always. I hope you remember. So Kiran, like I'm a mid-level engineer, like 5.6 year experience. So recently I'm in 3 years of IT. So can I take that experience in this DevOps DevOps field